Hey folks, welcome back to Guns and Grilling, where we smoke, sear, and shoot. So today we're going to be tackling two exciting topics: double stack 2011 pistols and a mouth-watering smoked Osso Bucco. So stick around because this one's all about power and flavor. Let's get it popping. All right, so let's start with these guns, right? Both guns are clear and safe, magazines are empty. And so, first question is, what exactly are double stack 2011 pistols? So, basically, they're modern evolutions of the classic 1911 that give you that crisp single action trigger, slim ergonomics, and much higher capacity. So, today we're going to talk about two pretty cool double stack options: the Military Armament Corporation Mac DS Comp 4.25 inch and 9 millimeter, and the Rock Island Armory Rock Ultra HC and 10 millimeter. So first, let's start with the Mac DS Comp 4.25 inch. So this is the Mac 9 DS Comp from Military Armament. Both the frame and slide are forged steel, which gives it durability and helps to tame recoil. The finish is a QPQ for treatment, so it resists wear and corrosion while keeping a sleek, matte look. It runs a 4.25 inch bull barrel with an integrated slide, single port comp, and aggressive slide cuts designed to control muzzle rise, right? So that means faster, flatter shooting, especially during rapid fire. The capacity with the magazines coming out is 17 plus one in the chamber. Again, chambered in 9 millimeter. Also available are the Springfield Armory Prodigy 20 round and 26 round mags. And while the Mac DS Comp tips the scale a little over 2 pounds unloaded, the weight actually works in your favor, keeping the pistol steady and accurate. The DS comes equipped with a dovetail front sight and a fully adjustable rear serrated sight. The platform is also optic ready with the agency AOS mounting system. I personally put on the Siley Ghost multi-reticle red dot optic, which I love, as well as the Streamlight TLR one light. I also added Talon gun grip tape because on my firearms I really like aggressive stippling on my handguns. And so additionally it comes with a flared magwell for easy magazine changes, which I think is an added plus. So you should think about this as a commander size 2011 that's modernized for for performance with a very crisp trigger, extended controls like the oversized mag release, slide catch, as well as a build quality that's rugged and ready for competition or ready for range shooting. So I've put almost 800 rounds through this with minimal to no issues across multiple round types, and it's definitely proven to be one of my favorite handguns to shoot. So switching focus here, we're going to move over to the Rock Island Armory Ultra HC 10 millimeter. So the Rock Island Ultra HC 10 millimeter is Rock Island's double stack, full size 2011 with some serious firepower, built entirely from steel. It features a 5-inch bull barrel with a full length guide rod and comes in at about 2.5 pounds empty. So that weight paired with the steel frame goes a long way towards taming the stout recoil of this 10 millimeter pistol. Capacity is 16 plus one, so 16 in the magazine that comes with it, plus one in the chamber of 10 millimeter auto, which is a lot of horsepower in one magazine. So the pistol is outfitted out of the box with a fiber optic front sight and an adjustable LPA style rear sight, giving you excellent sight picture and adjustability. And from a control standpoint, it includes a skeletonized hammer and trigger with an over travel adjustment, plus ambidextrous safeties. And also the textured G10 grips make sure the pistol stays planted in your hand even under a lot of recoil. And again, this is going to have some stout recoil. Additionally, it comes equipped with a flared magwell for easy magazine swaps as well. So this pistol, no doubt, is a beast on the range and can be used for home defense or to protect yourself from lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, right? So the biggest issue with this firearm is that it definitely has a break-in period. I've had a lot of feeding issues after a couple of hundred rounds. I polished the ramp, which helped a little bit, but ended up sending it back to Rock Island after shooting about 500 rounds because I continued to have feeding issues, and I wanted to see if they could do some magic on this gun to make it better. So they returned it to me, and overall, it's much better. And so also from what I've read, it may take about 1,000 rounds for it to be fully broken in. So we'll see how it performs. But overall, it's doing much better, and I can tell as it's getting broken in, it's easier to work the slide, because when it comes out of the box, it's pretty tight, and so we'll see how it evolves here when I put some more rounds through it. But I definitely love shooting it. It's pretty accurate with the factory sights. I don't plan to do anything drastic to this gun. I'm going to leave it kind of how it is. I'd recommend it, but I'd keep in mind it will require some patience on your part while breaking it in. So, in summary, as we talked about these 2011s, the question is, why are double stack 2011s cool, right? So number one, definitely the capacity of the magazines as well as the trigger. You get these high capacity magazines with that crisp single action 1911 pull. Ergonomically, they're both surprisingly slim in the hand, and they fit naturally in the hand, particularly for double stacked weapons. And then versatility, these can be used for home defense, competition, or you want to go to the range for plinking and pure range enjoyment. So whether you lean towards the smooth shooting Mac DS comp and 9mm, or the hard hitting Rock Ultra HC and 10mm, both bring modern firepower and classic design together. So hope you enjoyed this conversation. And now it's time to shift gears. So just like the 2011 pistol takes a classic and upgrades it, we're doing the same with a traditional Italian dish, Osso Bucco. It's usually cooked indoors, but today we're going to take it to the grill. And so let's get up to the kitchen and get it rolling. Thanks. All right, in the kitchen, ready to get rolling on some smoked Osso Bucco. So for the things that you need for this cook, it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. You're going to need a Dutch oven. I'm going to use a cast iron Dutch oven with a lid. You can use cast iron, ceramic, but as long as you have a lid, that's all that really matters. Some chicken stock or chicken broth or beef stock or beef broth, whatever your pleasure is. Some dry white wine to deglaze this pot when we get out there cooking, which you'll see shortly. You're going to need a large onion, yellow onion, chopped coarsely. You're going to need some minced garlic. And this minced garlic is probably about 4 cloves of garlic that I have in here. Also, you can use carrots, chopped carrots, celery. Within my house, my wife hates carrots, and I'm not a big fan of celery, so I'm just going to go with the onions and the garlic. But certainly you can add carrots and celery to it to make it your way. I'm going to use 6 ounces of tomato paste. You can use crushed tomatoes, whatever you like, but 6 ounces of tomato paste will do fine as a base. Also going to need some extra virgin olive oil, and then you're going to need some all-purpose flour to dredge our star of the show here. And I've got 3 beautiful beef shanks. You can use, the traditional Osso Bucco uses veal shank, but you can use beef shank as well. I'm going to be using beef shank because this was easiest for me to source. And then we'll dredge those in flours and get them rolling outside. So I'm going to get the grill fired up, and we'll get this cook started, and we'll check in here with you in a minute. All right, folks, we've got the grill set here to 450 degrees, and regardless of what kind of grill you're using, you want to set up an indirect cooking situation, right? And have your Dutch oven sitting on top of an indirect setup. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pour a little olive oil in here, get that nice and hot. And then what we're going to be doing is caramelizing these Osso Buccos. And so we're going to dredge them in some flour, we're going to drop them into the cast iron, and we're going to let them caramelize. So let's just do this dredge. I'll try not to make a huge mess here, but I'm not being very successful at that. And the goal here is to get them nice and brown. Should take about 5 minutes or so to meet that goal. And I've also added some pecan wood. That's where we're getting the smoke from to make it a smoked Osso Bucco. And so got some pecan wood rolling under here. So we just get these nice and floured up. And I am making an incredible mess, but such is life. We'll stick that in there, close it up, let it cook for about 5 minutes or so until those Osso Buccos are caramelized, and then we'll go to the next step. All right, let's take a peek at these. It's been a few minutes here. Yeah, they're looking good, starting to brown up, right?
That's all we want, to just get a little browning on them. You can see, just a little brown on them. Perfect. Okay, next thing we'll do is we will take these off here in another minute or so, and then we'll deglaze the bottom of this pan, and then we will start adding things like the chicken stock, and we'll start sweating the onions and the minced garlic, but we'll get to that in a second here. Okay, folks, we're gonna take these out of here. Set them to the side here. They got some color on them. And now what we'll do is we'll take this white wine, we'll pour about a cup. Just to deglaze the bottom of that pan. And we'll let this reduce a little bit here. All right, so we've let this wine reduce by about half. So now I'm going to take my chicken stock, put in about, we'll say a cup and a half here. And then we're going to add the onions. Oops. All right, we'll add the onions in here. And the goal here is to sweat these onions down until they're soft. I'll also go ahead and add the garlic, minced garlic. Stir that up here and let this garlic and these onions do their thing for a touch. Let's take a peek here. So now we've been able to sweat these onions down. Okay. Next step will be let's add some tomato paste. And like I said before, a whole 6-ounce can of tomato paste is what I'm putting in here. Let's mix that up. All right. So, okay. So we've added the tomato paste. The onions are nice and soft. I've also turned the heat down. So again, it was at 450 to start. And now we're gonna do low and slow at about 300 to 325. And now we'll go ahead and put in our beef shanks. Set it right on top of the base here. Try not to drop them on the floor, that'd be helpful. And we put our lid on top. And we're gonna let it run. This should take about 2 hours total to cook. And we'll know when it's cooked when the meat is fork tender and comes off the bone really easily. So we'll let it go. We'll check it every so often to make sure it's not drying out. And if it looks like it's losing fluid or drying out, I'll add some additional chicken stock to it. But this should go low and slow at about 300 to no more than 325 for about 2 hours or until it's fork tender. We'll be back. All right, we're back. It's been exactly 2 hours, and this Osso Bucco looks fantastic. So let's go ahead and plate some up, give it a taste, and we'll go from there. Now, keep in mind, if you are an Italian chef, please don't come at me about this Osso Bucco. It may not be the traditional Osso Bucco, but it is a delicious Osso Bucco. So here we go. We'll put this over this bed of yellow rice. Drop a little gravy on it. Some onions. And we will give this a try. All right. Let's see what we're working with. So number one, is it fork tender? Yes, it is. Fantastic. Good. My favorite part of the Osso Bucco is the marrow part right in the middle of the bone. So let's give this a whirl and see what we think. A little warm. Yep. Delicious. So that's it. Pretty straightforward cook. 2 hours on the fire, low and slow, little smoked Osso Bucco with some pecan wood. And there you have it. One thing I want to apologize, I've been sniffly the entire video, just getting over a cold, so hopefully it wasn't too distracting. But I wanted to shoot this video today and get it done. But so there you have it. 2 sections here. We talked about double stack 2011 firepower with the Mac DS Comp 9mm and the Rock Ultra HC 10mm, paired with some delicious Osso Bucco, which I'm going to tear up here in a few minutes. So again, thanks for hanging with us on Guns and Grilling. If you enjoyed this episode, big favor, hit that like, subscribe, drop a comment with your favorite 2011 double stack pistols, or if you have a different way to make Osso Bucco, share that as well. Really appreciate you joining and watching the channel today. And until next time, remember, smoke, sear, and shoot. Take care.